Hey, welcome back, everybody. Monday Morning Briefing, episode number 81. It's October the 17th. It is Monday. We are getting this one out on time this week. This weekend, we really were just kind of busy with things going on. We had a play day in Hallettsville, and so the kids, they do the dummy roping and the chute roping at the play day. Right now, we're not doing any riding events at the moment. They're doing riding lessons and things like that, but we just haven't gone off into doing, the little play day riding events just yet. But they had that, roped really well. The last play day, my little girl actually won the dummy roping, so I was super, super proud. My little boy didn't catch any. You get 3 shots at the dummy. He didn't catch any of his. She caught all 3 of hers and actually had to do a rope off with another little girl that ended up catching all 3 of hers as well. And so she ended up winning it. And I was super proud. And then this month when we went, they actually flipped spots. She unfortunately got a little excited and ended up missing all 3 of hers. And so she was out, and then whenever it was his turn, he ended up catching all 3. He was the only boy in the group to catch all 3. So they just kind of swapped places this month, and so that was a lot of fun. We did that. Neither one of them caught the chute roping. You stand at the chute and they just turn the calf out, and so you try to rope the calf there. And that's just going to take them some time of learning that timing, because it's really difficult when you're standing still and the calf is leaving. So we'll work on that at home and just keep kind of working on that. But they're really enjoying this play day events over there in Hallettsville, and so we're having a lot of fun with those. But Saturday, that was Saturday evening, and Saturday during the day there's a lady here in town that had a guy come he's a snake guy, reptile guy, and he comes and does like a little educational deal for kids. And so there was a whole bunch of our friends and stuff took their kids over there, but he brought all kinds of snakes and things and ended up handing out these venomous snake charts for Southeast Texas, kind of the snakes that we have that are common here. And so that was pretty neat. Most of them I knew about. There's one on here that I've never even heard of, but apparently they're kind of common here. We in Moulton, right here, this part of Lavaca County, there's really not any rattlesnakes to speak of. From everybody I've talked to said that they're really not here. West of us there's some, and then south of us there's plenty, but as far as like right here in this little spot, so that made Claudia happy, because being from North Texas, she doesn't have a whole lot of experience with rattlesnakes, and so she was real worried about that. But there's really none in this area. They said every once in a while somebody will find one kind of outside of town in a real brushy kind of area or something, but they're not very common. We're supposed to have a lot of copperheads around here. I have, knock on wood, I've yet to see one. The only snakes that we've found at the house have really been just rat snakes, and that's really all we've had to contend with, so we're happy with that. But our place is pretty much a hayfield, so we don't have a lot of cover anyway, so there's not a lot of game really. If there is any kind of game or wildlife they're moving through, they're not really hanging out there. So that actually kind of makes it kind of nice. I wish, being a wildlife guide and a hunter and stuff like that, I wish there was more stuff coming through there, but is what it is and kind of where we are. But anyway, that was neat. The kids got to hold, he had pythons and a bunch of turtles and different things like that, and they got to play with all those. He had one python that was 21 years old that was like 13 or 14 foot long, and so that was really cool. The kids surprisingly were really accepting of that snake and were able to pet on it, and some of them even were able to hold a piece of him and stuff, and it was just really neat. It was a neat program. It was a neat opportunity for kids to get to see that. My little girl's kind of scared of snakes. Obviously, most people are. I can kind of take them or leave them. I'm not terrified of them, but I like to know where they are as long as they're away from me. But I was proud of her. She actually just, I got over it a little bit and started petting on them. She didn't want to hold any of them, but she didn't mind petting on them. And he had 5 or 6 snakes there and 4 or 5 turtles. It was pretty neat. He didn't do anything with amphibians or really lizards or anything, so they didn't get to see any of those. But I think they really enjoyed that. So anyway, we did that and just kind of barbecued this weekend, worked on stuff. If you're following me on Instagram, you saw I did finish the table back there where we're putting the drawers in. I got the other side of that table all completed. Ran into a few little hiccups on the door slides on those as well. I'm learning a lot in building drawers and that kind of system for cabinetry kind of stuff. These are really, really rough. They're really, you can tell a saddle maker built them because they're not perfect, but they work, and it's really nice. I've actually got 2 drawers that currently, as of today, I don't know what I'm going to put in there. So that's a good problem to have. Usually when I do something like that, I pack it full right away, and then I've got to do something, figure out something else to do to take care of storage or whatever. But that deal's done. I needed to get that done this weekend so I get all my tools and stuff back to the house, because I got some projects I'm working on out there, and I'm bad about starting something and not finishing it, and starting multiple projects at one time. And so I told Claudia this weekend, I said I'm going to get that done, so that's out of the way. Coming into the Christmas season, we're trying to get ready for our Black Friday sale that we'll have, so through Cyber Monday sale that we do every year. We're trying to get ready for that, Christmas season, and just focus on our saddles above all else. Try to get all those as far along as we can. And then I worked on some project videos this last week as well. As you can see behind me, the saddle is done. The saddle's completed. I do have to do a breast collar for it. We decided to go ahead and make one of those to go along with it, so we'll knock that out today or tomorrow, and then we'll get that saddle shipped off to the owner. But in the meantime, last week when I was waiting on some stuff, I started working on a few of the project videos we've been working on that'll be coming out. But one of them we're finalizing now, and that is for the field notebook. This is going to be a very easy build. There's nothing to it. The one I built here just is all 3/4-ounce leather, 3/4-ounce veg tan leather. It's basically just a main body piece and then a pocket on each side on the inside just to hold the little field notebooks. I've seen a lot of people do these on YouTube. They're a very popular item. I think the size that I made this, it will fit other types of notebooks, but we'll kind of put that in the details and stuff through the video as we're talking about it. But these notebooks, you can buy them anywhere. Amazon, you buy them in a big pack. You can also buy them from Maker's Leather Supply. He carries these. That's where I got these. I bought these from Aaron. I just bought like a 3-pack, I think. The ones I got are just blank sheets of paper in there. I like that because if I want to draw, I don't have lines in my way. If I want to take notes, it's fine too. And so it kind of works either way. I like carrying, and I will maybe someday come up with a specific item to hold these, but I carry a lot of little note cards like this. And I carry these little note cards usually in just a little, the one I used forever was just literally just a piece of leather folded in half, a little piece of 3/4-ounce that held a little stack of these cards. These little note cards are handy to have just if you've got to write some notes down, if you've got to write your number down, hand it to somebody if you don't have your business cards with you. Whatever you got, if you're making a grocery list, whatever, there's always a reason why you need a little piece of paper, just a little piece. So I've gotten, years ago, I started carrying little note cards just in my back pocket just to have, and then the ones that, if it's something important or a piece of reference or something that I'm trying to keep, like serial number off a truck or tractor or something like that, or you're out somewhere and you write it down, I can actually file those in a little card box that I have. I'll put those in there, and that way I've got them. But I went ahead, and when I made this one, it actually will hold a little stack on each side of that, and so that's kind of handy. But anyway, this will be the next project video. Like I said, it's gonna be a super easy build. Should be a very short video. But I'm doing a pattern pack as we usually do, and it'll have a lot of different floral tooling patterns in there. Many of y'all have probably already made these, so you don't need me to show you necessarily how to make these, but I'm going to show you how I make them. I am also going to hand stitch mine in the video. This one here I sewed on my little Singer 3115. It worked good, but I thought this was a good project to go ahead and tie in our hand sewing video that we did a while back, where I show you how to sew with an awl and 2 needles. So I'm going to sew this up that way as well, because I think that's going to work. It's a good opportunity just to show you how I do that. You can definitely use pricking irons. You can definitely do it however you want to do it. But I'm going to go ahead and hand sew it just because it's so small, and we'll go ahead and do one like that. And but I've got the pattern almost finalized. We're getting all the floral part drawn out. This pattern for the field notebook will be available, as all our patterns, in digital and printed. I'm doing it so that the pages on these, since it's so small, they're going to be like our digital patterns used to be, like the older patterns are, that are on 8.5 by 11. So even if you're in the US when this pattern comes out, if you'd prefer just to buy the digital and print it out yourself, you can certainly do that. It won't be on a weird big piece of paper or anything like that. It'll just be on 8.5 by 11 sheets of paper, so you can download it, print it out. You don't have to wait on the mail and all that, but we will also offer it in the printed for those that don't have a printer or don't want to jack with it. They just rather buy it and wait for it to come in the mail. We'll do that as well. So that's going to be the next one. And then, like I said, we've got a few more that we're working on, and a few more ideas that I kind of need to get ironed out to start, so we can come into the fall with some new project videos, and it's moving fast. Like I said, October, we're halfway through October, and before we know it, it's going to be Thanksgiving, then Christmas, and this year will be wrapped up. But we're trying to just stay focused and try to get on track here and get ready for the Christmas season. I hope you're doing the same. But as far as the store out there, Claudia got her decorations up for fall. That's her favorite time of the year, and so she's always excited to decorate for fall, and she keeps it out there as long as possible before we have to put Christmas decorations up. She loves Christmas too, but fall's her favorite, and I tend to want to put my tree up for Christmas like right there, you know, before Thanksgiving or somewhere around there, and she won't have it until after Thanksgiving, and so we're gonna have to wait for that. But it looks really good. She added a few more decorations this year. We brought hay into the shop again, and we'll show you that kind of some of the decorations. But it turned out really good. It looks really good. We've got railing on the front of the shop now, and so she had a little bit more opportunity to hang some stuff and do that kind of deal. So we're excited about that. But as far as downtown Moulton, we've got the Trunk or Treat coming at the end of the month, so that'll be a downtown event, and we'll be open for that and handing out candy and that kind of deal. It's a lot of fun, so we'll do that. And then of course the wine walk, which we'll talk about some more, will be coming at the beginning of December. They'll have that event as well. So a lot of fun things going on in Moulton, especially in the fall. It's my favorite time of year. We're trying to work with maybe some ideas of doing some type of event in the spring, just to just kind of drive some traffic to Moulton and bring some folks in and hopefully kind of uplift the economy just a little bit as far as downtown activities and things like that. If you've come here before and you've been to the shop, it's just a neat little downtown, and I want to kind of try to work, you know, as far as a community member, just trying to work to get the downtown just a little bit more active throughout the year, not just in the fall, because it's everybody benefits from that. It's good for the town, it's good for the community, and it's a lot of fun. So we're going to work on some of that. But let me grab the little camera. I'm going to show you the drawers that I did back there, this saddle, and then some of the decorations out front. All right, so we're getting some rain here this morning, which is a fantastic thing. I've had 1.25 inches since last night at the house, which I hadn't had 1 inch in over 8 weeks probably, or longer. So it's been pretty nice. This is that leak I was gonna show y'all. This is that one spot right here where I've set dyes before, and it's rained, and as you can see, got some moisture there, and it's kind of got some surface rust on the dyes. You can see this stirrup tread pattern was sitting there last night, and some of these other ones were too, but they'll dry out. Not too worried about those. But yeah, the dyes, I got to remember not to set anything there, because evidently I've got a little pinhole way up there. I found it one day, but anyway, we'll have to get that fixed. But this is the cut side, or the clicker side of the bench, and y'all saw those drawers in another video, and there's our clicker and stuff right there. And so we got that done a while back, and then this has been just kind of framed up, but I didn't do all the drawers. For this weekend I got them all done, and like this first drawer here, I've just got, for right now, this may change, but for right now I've got just all the scrap Latigo strips. So there's anything from lace leather in there to drop-offs from Latigo tie straps, things like that. That leather is all really good. It makes really good lace, or just any kind of little straps or buckle straps or anything. And then down here I've got just big pieces of Latigo, just kind of scrap pieces there, and that's good for that drawer. There is pretty tight. I ended up making I had one drawer that was a little too wide, and so I had to do some modifications on it on the other side. So on this side I got a little gun shy, and I ended up making a few of the drawers just a hair too narrow, and so I had to do some shimming and things to get those to work, but all the rest of them are good. And then this one here, I've just got goat skins in here. They actually fit this drawer perfectly, so I can keep those out of the dust and out of the weather. They're pretty shelf stable anyway, but at least this way now they just kind of hang out in here. And I really like that, because I don't keep a ton. Usually when I get goat skin in, I cut it all up for the bifold wallets or anything else we're doing, and so this way I've got it kind of where I want it. And then in this drawer here, I've got 5-6 ounce scraps, so just all kinds of pieces of 5-6 ounce leather. Anything I've pulled down will go in here. And then these two drawers on this side, I don't really have anything in yet, so I've got to figure out what's going to go in there. But that's a good problem to have. I've pretty much got all my scraps sorted the way I want it, and so I don't really know what I'm going to put in there yet, but I'm sure I will find something to put in those bins. And like I said, might do away with the Latigo strips. And I don't use a lot of Latigo scraps. Most Latigo that comes into my shop gets cut into lace or cut into tie straps for saddles, lining breast collars and flank cinches and stuff like that. I don't really make a lot of stuff. I make a few knife sheaths and things like that, but I might not commit 2 drawers as we go along. But we did get another leather shipment. So as you can see down here, our shelving's working good. I've got lots of leather stored underneath. It's all wrapped. I keep it wrapped until I'm ready to kind of start cutting it up. It's a lot safer in that paper from light damage and things. And then I've got my heavy skirting, as we talked about before, kind of laid out flat, and then some 910 up here. And that's just a roll of 3-4 that I'm working on going through, wrapping up some belts. So I was cutting some liners off of that. But we're just working through the scrap before I start cutting up all of this leather down here. So we're working through that and trying to get as much stuff cut to get on the website and to get Claudia's bins full so she has product to, because if we run out of stuff, I can always cut more, but sometimes it slows us down if she's trying to do shipments in a hurry. It's a lot easier to go to a bin and just pull out what you need than to her to give me a cut list, and then I've got to break off what I'm doing to go cut. So try to stay ahead of her best I can. A little update on the Skyver. I've had a few people ask me if I've done anything with it yet. Here it is. I did lift it up and kind of start looking at it and figuring out a game plan. I did get that motor, so I do have a servo motor. I've got to figure out how to put that on there. I just haven't had a chance to really mess with it much. And so I'm hoping maybe here pretty soon I can kind of sit down and maybe over the fall I'll have some time, or after Christmas, where it probably needs to be power washed and degreased and all that stuff. But like I said, it's not a top priority, but it is something that we're working on. Also had some folks ask about the laser that they saw in the last video. I think we've talked about this before, but it's a friend of mine's. He needed a place to go with it. We brought it in here. We're working on getting a blower system for it to suck out the smoke and stuff whenever it's working. And that way it doesn't fog out the shop and things like that. So I'm hoping to have this up and running soon to where I can play around with it. We might be having some templates coming in the future for just some simple jigs and things that I use. My jigs are made out of leather, but I thought, well, we can make them out of acrylic, and people seem to enjoy those. So we are working on some of those. I will not be cutting the majority of those templates because I don't have the time nor the expertise on these machines. So this machine will basically be my prototype laser until it goes home. Like I said, it's not mine. It's a good friend of mine's, but I'll use it as a prototyper. I can kind of get a pattern done up, cut one out, make sure it's the way I want it, and then when that file's kind of locked down and right, I can send that file off and have those templates made for us, and that way we can offer those on the website. But that's what I've been working on in the cutting room. As you can see, I've still got quite a bit of clutter up here. We've got to kind of go through and organize, but it's coming along. It's already feeling a lot more efficient. All right, so here's the saddle we've been working on for a few weeks, probably a month or better. Got it all finished. This is what we would call, like we talked about before, a Mother Hubbard style. So there's no rear housing on there. It's all one piece. There's front rig and back rig are both in skirt, and so I really like that design. I might actually do my son's saddle that way, just for efficiency. I just really like the build. Plus, I need a little bit more practice. That was a little bit challenging for me. I've never done one of those that way, and so I had a lot of help from a good friend of mine, Terry Henson. He helped me with just trying to get it on my mind on how this thing was going to go together, and it actually went together really well, and I enjoyed the build. So, but like we had talked about, and you've probably seen on Instagram, but we have the Humminbird on the stirrups, and then we have the one on the horn. And we just did a light oil, or what we call our honey finish, which is just a little bit of oil, one light coat, and then getting it even, and then just tan coat over the top. We didn't do any antiquing or anything like that. I usually antique everything, and I think it would have looked really good antiqued, but I'd already had the skirts on there as well, and so there's really no way to antique this Camelback and not get antique on this rough out. The rough out's like a sponge. So we opted to not antique it because it wasn't going to be antique to start, and then we kind of thought, well, we might want to antique that, but it was already too late. I should have done it before I put the skirts on there, and I very well could have, but wasn't the direction we intended to go. He had these conchos made by Campbell's Bits and Spurs out in Amarillo years ago, pulled them off another saddle that he has, and sent those to me, and they're just little hummingbirds on there, all 1.5 inch conchos. And so that saddle turned out pretty cool. So we'll get the breast collar wrapped up on it and get a box put together and get everything ready to ship out. And this saddle will be headed to Arizona probably the next couple of days. All right, so Claudia's decorations. She always likes to do a little hay set right there in the middle of the shop. Like we talked about last year, that's a heck of a mess bringing hay bales into a workshop, but it looks cool. It's nice. We just got to keep it swept up and keep Huey from trying to jump on there and dance around on that hay because it just gets everywhere. But that's part of the fun. But that's her little centerpiece in the shop. We put that other little tree we talked about last week. We've got it sitting on the top there as just decoration, and she's got her little fall pieces out there. She's got some stuff up there at the counter and little pumpkins and things. And then our area over here with our knives. We're waiting on some knives from Case. And so hopefully we'll get that knife case kind of built back up a little bit. And then if we go outside, or right here by the front door, we've got, she did some decorations there. Got a box there that UPS didn't pick up Friday, I just noticed. So we'll have to get that picked up today. As you can see, we're getting a pretty good shower today. It was raining a lot harder earlier, but we're glad to have it. But anyway, she's got her little scenes out here. So she's got some more stuff she wants to add and things, but she's getting it all. She's slowly gathering all her decorations and getting stuff together. So eventually she'll have so much decorations she won't be able to put them all out every year. So. All right, so that's what's going on in the shop. Getting ready for this week. Like I said, it is Monday, so we've got a lot of stuff. I think Claudia's going to come in here this afternoon, get her shipments done for the day, and then we're going to sit down and try to make a list of kind of some of our stuff I mentioned earlier in the video about the Black Friday sale. We will be doing that just like we do every year. We've just got to iron out all the details and what all we're going to do and how it's going to kind of run and that deal. So we're excited about that. We're getting geared up for that. We've got, I think, a little over 6 weeks, so we've got plenty of time. But we want to be sure that we've got enough material, that we've got enough patterns and printouts and things like that, and kind of what we're going to offer and what's going to be the big deal for the Black Friday sale. So we'll be getting ready for that. If you haven't already, be sure and sign up for the Leathercraft newsletter. We will be sending out information. In fact, we will have a newsletter go out this week. So you want to be sure, if you're not signed up for that, sign up for that. If you have been on that and you've been wondering if maybe you're not on it anymore, you're not. You still are. It's just we haven't sent one in a while. And like we always say, we don't send one unless we have something to tell you. I try not to bombard you with too many emails. We all get way too many emails in our inbox. So we just try not to bug you. We send you something, it's because there's something we need to tell you. It's something that we're offering, something new, or we're just trying to get caught up on making sure that you know of all the videos and the podcasts and things that have come out since the last newsletter. So that's kind of what we use it for. But be sure and sign up for it, because that'll be all the information for the Black Friday Cyber Monday sale. And it's just a good thing to be a part of, and that way you can stay connected with us and know what all's going on. As far as the podcast, we're getting some more interviews done this week. Last week's was with Willie James Brown with William James Leather, and it was a lot of fun. A great episode. Got a lot of good feedback on that episode. He's got a good following, so I think a lot of people maybe found out about Lost Trade that didn't know about Lost Trade but followed him, and vice versa. So hopefully you enjoyed that episode. I got a lot of good comments and private messages, from people saying, man, I really liked the topic of what y'all talked about. Some people agreed with what we were saying, some people didn't. That's part of business. Everybody's got a different aspect, a different focus, and you got to kind of look at all aspects of that. That's why we try to bring on some of the guys that have been around for many years and have done marketing specifically differently as we all used to before the internet and social media and all that, as well as bringing on some of those new guys that are kind of very efficient at using social media and do really well with it, and that way we can all learn from each other, because we still need to know how to market without social media, as well as we need to know how to use social media, at least to some extent, so that we can kind of stay freshened up and geared up and be able to market efficiently. So anyway, great episode. If you haven't listened to it already, go to Apple or Spotify and just search Lost Trade, and it'll be the first one or the last one that we posted, and you can listen to that one. We've got a lot of other episodes on there too, with a lot of great craftsmen and women on there, and you'll really enjoy it. I appreciate you guys watching, and we'll see y'all next week in the Monday Morning Briefing.